Durante Parks here. Today is a day my team and I have been working toward for the past 6 months. Today we're showcasing our latest financing website configuration. It's an all-in-one solution for doing virtually any type of commercial transaction, from small business loans to large commercial loans. And when we say large loans, we're talking about transactions that start at $50 million up to $2 billion. Initially, I wanted a new platform that gave me the tools and resources to do virtually any type of commercial transaction. And when I say any, I mean any type of commercial transaction. From buying businesses using LBO strategies, securing small business financing loans for myself as well as a service for my clients, securing commercial real estate loans for structuring syndications and even joint ventures. I didn't want to have to log in and out of numerous sites and have to deal with hundreds of passwords and login credentials. And I didn't want to have to pass on opportunities because I simply didn't have the infrastructure in place. On the surface, my desire was really simple. I wanted to simplify my processes and position myself to be able to profit and monetize virtually any financing opportunity that I actually encountered. I could help anyone begin the process. I understand that, but I can't guarantee an ending. But a sure start was something I can always do. I didn't want 10 websites. I wanted 10 systems built into one website. This master system may seem to be a bit overwhelming or overkill to some, but it was developed specifically for that purpose, not to overwhelm, but to actually create the infrastructure of a business that you can actually scale and grow into. We have a lot to share and a short window of opportunity. Now, what you're about to see is by far the most comprehensive, complete, and compact commercial financing package and system that I've ever seen or assembled in my 40 years in this business. So let's just get right into this and just get rolling here. Now, first of all, our financing dashboard, which is basically the heart and soul of the business, is included in all of our websites. And that includes the Financing Masterclass course, the Professional Sales course, our private document creator, our underwriting software, our business and real estate funding sources, research resources, marketing materials, and strategies for actually implementing each. You can view the financing dashboard deep dive video on this page in another section. The main thing to remember is that this package, the virtual dashboard, the financing dashboard, is included in all of our packages. And by the way, all of our clients get personal assistance and advice directly from us on transactions when and if they need it, and there's actually no extra cost. We'll even deal share with our clients once they've completed our core training programs, which makes sense, all right? Now, so let's talk about the sites, what's included, and how this thing actually works. Now, remember, we are building a business, and we're in the business of buying and selling money. We can buy money, we can sell money. We can flip money, flip properties, and we can also flip financing. And this dashboard includes the training, the software, the tools, and all the support you need to actually grow a real thriving six-figure commercial financing and investing business. If you're a consultant, it'll be perfect for you. If you're an investor, it's ideal. So, having said that, let's talk about the sites and get right into that. And remember, the dashboard is included in all of our website packages, all right? Now, first of all, let's dive into this and let's begin with the 10 sites, their purposes and their uses. Now pay close attention. I have a tendency to talk, get excited, and begin talking real fast. So again, pay close attention and track me and take good notes. Now my assignment is to make this presentation as thorough and efficiently as possible in a minimal amount of time. If you have questions, you can email your questions to me at questions@financingsites.com. That's, again, you can send your questions to questions@financingsites.com or call us directly from our contact page. Number 2, financing debt and business financing. Whereas with our business financing sector, what you actually have here is we have the dashboard that's included. And here our second website is a business financing is Site A. Now this connection connects you directly with an FDIC bank. It's kind of like you're working with a bank, but you are an affiliate. And because of that, the bank pays you just like any other affiliate program. The only difference with the commercial financing programs, you're operating on the same principles as an affiliate. You're just getting paid for selling money. Amazon pays you for selling books and DVDs and that kind of stuff. Here, you're paid by a bank for selling money. You're in the business of buying and selling money. People that buy money are borrowers. People that sell money are lenders. Lenders will pay you to sell their products, which is money. It's the business of buying and selling money. The business financing site works where we connect you with, you're working directly with an FDIC bank, U.S. bank, and this bank connects you and gives you your own private portal for business financing programs. They do all the customer support. They do all the underwriting. They do all the analysis. They do all the communication with the customers. You don't have to talk to the customers. You don't have to even look at an email or assess any documents or package. The bank's system actually does that for you. So the benefit and why you want a small business financing bank in your repertoire of tools is because it opens the door for you to do fast loans with no hassle. You don't have to do anything but promote the programs. And that can be done with simple ads, which is included in the dashboard. And that's your first bank. And secondly, these banks, this particular bank, actually underwrites your loans in real time. And that's good for you, but it creates a challenge. And the challenge being, you aren't going to be able to broker business loans with third parties. You can't co-broker a business loan because it's done dynamically, which means the SIN, the EIN numbers, the socials, the monthly accounts receivables, balances in bank accounts, a broker can't provide that information. So it's not this emailing documents back and forth. You send your client to the application. They go to your site, click the button, go to the application, opt in, and the underwriting of the loan is done in real time. Now that's the downside, is you can't really do it with brokers, okay? Now, but the positive side to having a business financing module or connection to is they are completely different from commercial real estate loans. These loans are based on assets and bank accounts and credit ratings. That's it. No collateral is required at all. And most importantly, a lot of them close real fast. For example, you can take a company that needs operating capital to meet its payroll this week. Payroll is say $400,000. It's Monday morning. They need it by Friday. Unlike real estate loans, you don't have 30, 60, 90 days. These are fast deals. They're all hard money deals, and they close fast, and the lenders are very, very competitive. And if your bank won't do the deal, you also have, with this configuration, a setup where your project, if this bank rejects your client, it's automatically, ladies and gentlemen, automatically placed in the lender business marketplace in front of hundreds of lenders, and the bank is your facilitator, and they put the deal together. And you're connected on all of the communications with emails and phone calls. You can log into your back office and see the actual status of all of your clients, all of the loans, and the transactions. All right, so you want that, okay? Secondly, when you really assess the services that you have with a small business line, you can offer, particularly if you work with real estate investors, you can offer them business lines of credit and profit from that. And then you can sell them one of your products or services, and they can use that line of credit, which creates a double play for you in that deal. Now, that's just something to remember with what you can actually utilize business lines of credit for. Help investors who use, particularly wholesalers and flippers who are used to using hard money lenders. You introduce the process of a business loan for that corporation. You profit from that. Then they can draw down on that loan and either pay you for services or pay for the down payment on other properties, or use those lines of credit to actually acquire properties directly versus having to deal with hard money lenders. So that's one of the business benefits of a business financing connection. For years, I didn't touch it. I dealt exclusively with real estate. I didn't understand it, but that has changed. Today, this isn't that. All right. So that's what we have here in our business financing module. And we actually have a website. We're going to see it. You're going to see all of these things. But I want to give you an introduction first of what you're going to actually see. We also have a second business funding site, and this is with a hedge fund. And what's unique about this is they offer same-day funding, same programs that the bank offers, except they do cannabis financing, equipment, so you're going to see that website also, and a lot of other business services such as merchant accounts, accounts receivables, purchase order funding, a lot of niche stuff. Now remember, initially the objective was to be able to monetize pretty much any opportunity that I came across in the market. And now this is the first new piece in my model of these two business funding sources. The fourth source is real estate financing, and that's basically for new construction, acquisitions, hard money loans, refinancing, stated income loans, aka liar's loans, and bridge financing. But in real estate, it's basically four types of loans: new construction, acquisitions, refinancing, and then there's hard money and acquisition rehab financing. So real estate is cool, but the downside to the real estate is you have so many players. You have the lender, you have the appraisers, you have the realtors, and as a result of all of those third-party intermediaries, you end up taking 60 to 90 days to close a real estate loan. Unlike the business loans, they can close in 3 and 4 days, and in some instances, even on the same day. Our fifth site is a property buyer and investor site for making offers. In our training, you learn how to make money making offers, and you have the tools, the software to spit out, generate offers on the fly. You can probably do 10 offers in an hour. Real quick, everything's prepared. You just fill in the blanks. Documents are done. You implement it. These are games, and here in the acquisition financing game, you're going to make full price offers on income producing properties. You're not dealing with any fixer-uppers here with this strategy. And the strategy for implementing and executing this is actually in the back office in our masterclass. So those are the first 5 sites, and that's what you have here. All right. Now, our sixth site is our off-market flipping funnel. That's for wholesalers or individuals who are looking to do deals that don't require any lenders, doesn't require any cash, and doesn't need any partners. Now, the rationale and the logic behind this funnel is that it's to build you a list of cash buyers. And all you do, and you don't need property to start this, you don't need a license to do this, and you don't need anyone's approval, but you do need the knowledge. And in our courses, there is an off-market property flipper course. It's called the Local Property Flip, that teaches you exactly how to do that. Now, what kind of results are we talking about here? One, no lender needed, no money needed, no credit needed, and you're talking about closing in 30 days or less. The fastest deal that I've done using this strategy has been 29 days, all right? And that is an all-cash deal, and I did not have the real estate to begin. I did not have money to use. I did not need credit, and I did not need any partners. It was all about what was between my left and right ear. That's the power, that's the resource, that's the currency that you're actually utilizing when you implement this. Secondly, this is by far, secondly, to real estate, business loans, this local property flip is probably the fastest, the simplest, and the easiest way to structure a six-figure transaction in 30 days or less, all right? So it's a very powerful strategy, and it's extremely simple, yet sophisticated. The sophistication is understanding the dynamics of the transaction. Now, one of the things to remember with all of these processes and all of these strategies is that they are basically games. I approach commercial financing, business financing, and investing as a game, and it's a game of moves. When you make an offer on an income property, that's a move. That starts the game, and then there are counter moves, and that's the anticipated response from the offer. So you make offers to make deals. You run ads to drive traffic to generate a specific result. So when you're looking to do local flips, you're going to start with locating a person to flip the property to, but you don't have to have a property to start. The objective on the outset is to reverse engineer in our thinking and focus and build us a list of cash buyers, and we find and get those guys through simply running strategic ads. Where do you get the ads from? The ads are actually in the website, in our marketing section, in the site, and you can also use ChatGPT to write the ads for you if you choose to. So when we say a complete system, it's complete here. Our seventh website is a joint venture website. Now, what's cool about this is a bit advanced now, but the benefit in this, and who does it work with? Well, I've had great success with this one program with doctors and lawyers, people with tax problems and those who need tax shelter. And they don't have the time to play the real estate game, all right? So here's the deal, and what I like about this particular strategy is I earn a commitment fee up front. Typically it's 1%, $10,000 to $20,000 commitment fee. That's 100% refundable at closing. And in return, what I do is I put the deal together. I secure the financing, I negotiate the terms, because my doctor doesn't have time to do that. And I make sure, and I operate as a fiduciary, and I make sure that everything works to his advantage, not mine, to his advantage. And in return, I get an equity position in the property, say on $1 million property. My proposal is 10% equity. That's a $100,000 note, and I secure that note as debt against the property, and at zero interest initially. It's a process. You have to learn the entire process initially, but that keep the barrier of entry low, where it's hard to fight or object to a zero interest loan. So I structure a note, I take 10% equity, and I secure that equity as debt, and I actually turn it into an income stream. That's what this joint venture program is all about. 8 is my large project funding. Now, these are projects like Moby Dick. Let's give you a visual here. The business loans are like standing on a bridge, fishing off at the back of your vehicle, at the trunk with a stick and a string. And you just drop your bait down into the river, and pick up whatever you want. You don't need a boat. You don't need a boat. You don't need any visitors. It's just get out the car and drop the road. That's the easy, fast stuff. This large project funding is a little different. That's like looking for Moby Dick. You're gonna need a boat, and you're gonna have, because he's way out there in the deep waters. All right, and that means you're gonna need a boat. You're gonna need food to sustain you while you're on that boat. You're gonna need fuel for the boat, and you're gonna need food, fuel, and a crew, and you're gonna have to ride. What's the point? Off the bridge with the small loans, it's fast and easy. This $50 million starting point, it's a slow move. It's you're hunting for Moby Dick. You got to go a long way, and it's a slow process, and it takes time. So that's the downside. Moby Dick is big. Making on a $400 million deal, you learn how to negotiate it. Now, just gonna drop this on you. On a $400 million deal, this is what you have learned to do, because you've expanded internally where you can actually conceive and see this. And it's not some pie in the sky stuff. You can bring it home. All right. On a $400 million deal, here's what you negotiated. You negotiated 2 points in equity. Okay. That's ownership, partnership in the company in stock. And you pick up 2 points on debt and 2 points on any equity deal you put together. All right. So on a $400 million deal, 1 point is $4 million. 2 points is $8 million. You said, but it's going to take it's going to take a long time to get it. That's fine. Time's going to go by anyway. Okay. So as the deals, the client draws down on that capital, if he draws down, say, $100 million this month for whatever they're doing, infrastructure, put in the actual utilities, or to build specifically like data center projects, solar projects, wind projects. The guy draws down $100 million this month. This month, you are paid 1% of the drawdown. So in terms of how long it takes, if it's a 5-year project, it's going to be a 5-year payout. But it's not like you have to wait 5 years before you get any payout. You get payouts as the client draws down on the funds that you secured. All of the documents for implementing and executing all of these strategies are included in the dashboard. That's why the dashboard is part of all of the sites, because without it, you'll have theory, but you won't be able to implement or apply any of these things. It's kind of like having been a plumber, has a master's degree in plumbing, but it doesn't have any tools. You can talk it, you just can't walk it. The financing dashboard gives you the tools and resources to implement and execute the strategies that you're actually going to be utilizing and doing. So you can not just talk it, you can make it happen. It's kind of like a casino. You walk into the casino, you got all kind of games, all kind of noise. You got a $5 machine, a 5-cent machine, a 10 cents, $10 slot machine. You got a blackjack table, a poker table, a craps table, and then you got a high rollers table. And this financing game is like that. And that's a visual for you to think about. So what you have to do is go in the game, first find out what it is you have to work with and what it is you're trying to achieve, and when do you need to achieve it, how much time you have. For some of you have a lot of time, some of you don't have much time, and some of you need to redeem the time and restore the years of the tinkerworm and fix stuff that went wrong in the past, bring it forward and fix it. The large project funding is a way. That's a game. It's not the only game. It's one of many games. And here with this master class and this master website, I've built and put all of these pieces there. So whenever an opportunity presents itself, I can be prepared to achieve and profit from the moment and take full advantage of those opportunities when they're present. 9, we've included in here a training membership site, which means the selling money is a service. And the thing about services, it requires time. I have to be engaged with the service portions. The training membership is a product, which means I don't have to be there to do that. You don't have to be there to do that. You sell the courses, and we include the courses in the training site, and you can get to go through the course before you even sell it, so you'll know what you're actually selling. All right? But we include it and that's included as a training site, and you can sell that course for $49 a month. That's of course after you use it. You want to utilize it first. Up to $8,000 for a lifetime, or different variations in terms of how you position and profit the course. It's a lot of added value you can add to it, but it's an income stream, all right? And it's a course. So you have a digital course which is a product in addition to the financing services. So you want a combination of both of those, all right? We've also included an e-commerce store, which is, if you want, you could go to Amazon, plug in, pick products, financing products, calculators, DVD courses, books, and other courses, plug it into your Amazon store and sell it directly off your website. The e-commerce store is set up already for that purpose. Now, let's talk about services. Now, remember, when we're selling loans, we're selling lender services. What I want to share with you now, and what you're going to see here, these are services that you offer. They're your services. You price them, and they're a premium service. You don't give these away. You set the price, and you can integrate them as part of your standard operating procedures. A term I use for that is called process profiting. You want to profit from the processes and not just go through the processes and profit at the closing. Because in a lot of cases, you can spend a lot of time and effort and energy getting to a closing and never get there. Doesn't feel good. So you spend a lot of time and energy and benefited absolutely nothing. You say, well, it was a good experience. Let me tell you, I've been to two closings and then get paid. And I'm telling you, you do not want to have those experiences. This gives you products and processes that you can actually profit from. These are your services. It's not the lender services. These are your services. And what you're actually doing is you're making your knowledge sell. Sell your knowledge. Don't give it away, all right? So in this setup, mindset, the first closing that anyone has is with you, not the lender. That's the second closing, all right? And we have included 8 of these personal services and products, services that you can provide and products that you can actually give access to 24/7, 365. You need and want a nice balanced mix of both. You don't just want a bunch of lender programs and don't have any personal services to offer. Because if the lender program, the deals don't close, and the problem with that, unless you're the actual principal, that's different, is there are circumstances and situations that are beyond your control. You didn't know that the buyer was a liar, or that the lender was a joker. You didn't know it. Or that the seller submitted fraudulent documents. You did not know that. And there's no way you can know it. And that's why the conclusion is I can help anyone start the process, but I can't guarantee a conclusion. Here, I can help and I can require at certain transactions under certain conditions, I require that those loans actually be packaged. And we have included that service. You have that software in the back office, and you can price it from $500 to $3,500. And each of these services have their own sales page. Secondly, product is our LOI creation service. It's kind of like when you are applying for a job and you have to get a resume done. It's like that. The resume doesn't guarantee you the job, but the lender, the employer told you that in order to have the interview, they require required a resume. So you go down to Resume Jack store and you give Jack your information and he creates a resume and he charges you $200-300 to create the resume, and you go to the interview and you don't get the job. Was that Jack's problem? No, that wasn't what Jack was hired for. Jack was paid to prepare the resume. Jack couldn't guarantee the job. This is like that. These documents are like that. That loan packaging is part of the process. You can't guarantee the results. You can make it a requirement on all deals, particularly people that, a good example would be you require, and this is you doing this, you require that all deals above 80% LTV or LTC, that they have to be professionally packaged. Who requires it? You require it. You mean the lender doesn't require it? No, the lender doesn't require it. You require it. You say, well, why is that? Because your experience has proven to you that typically people that want high leverage loans can't close. Even though you can bring the lender together and put together a 100% financing transaction and have all the fees rolled in, there are a couple of things that are called acquisition costs, like taxes, insurance, and prorated items. They aren't rolled in, and you have a client who's trying to do a 100% financing deal, and you brought the 100% together. You brought a 90% lender to the table. Seller took back 10%. Lender had no problem with that. You brought the deal together. The individual needed 2% to close because to cover those items, taxes, insurance, and proration items, and he doesn't have the 2%. You don't get paid. You just got played. When you identify situations like that and you set up some frameworks where all deals over 80% have to be professionally packaged, up from 80, all deals over 80 are starting at 81 to 85% LTV have to be professionally packaged. You require it. You have another bar where all deals above 85, they're starting at 86 to 90% LTV. If I want a 90% loan and I come to you, you need to inform me that in order to get any consideration for the 90% loan that I'm looking for, you don't do this for free. A lot of people work for free. You don't want to be one of them. Forget that. A lot of brokers are broke for that very reason. All right? You don't even want to use the word broker. You want to be a consultant and a transaction engineer, a deal maker here. So the deals at 90% LTV and higher, you require that they be professionally pre-underwritten in order to get any consideration. And if I'm not willing to have my deal pre-underwritten to get a 90% or higher LTV, you don't need to waste your time with me because you're not going to get paid. Because I'm not going to be able to close. That's the game. That's the play. That's the process profiting strategy. So you can offer LOI creation services. I've done LOIs for up to started, the first one was $4,000. I've done them from $200, and a lot of it depends on you and how much value you actually provide to your client. So you have a lot to do with what the price you charge and people are willing to pay you. And a lot of that is just based on the information that you're able to share in terms of how you can solve their problems. If I can explain to you how I can solve your problem and how I can help you, that gives me credibility, and you're comfortable and you buy the solution. Not the problem, you pay for the solution. So here with the LOI creation, I never wanted to sell, offer this as a service, but I had a friend of mine, I showed him my LOI, and he said, I want one of those. I told him to go buy the software. It's $2,500. He said, I don't want to buy the software. I'd rather pay you to do it. So I said, you'll pay me to do it? So what's your pay? He said, I pay you $3,000 to do it. I go, what? Versus paying $2,500 for the software and doing it yourself, everybody don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You rather pay to have it done. So then that was how I discovered this. And since then, I've sold at least 6 of these by simply making it available. Now here with these services, all of these services now have an actual sales page included. A lender referral service, C, is a service you sell. Now here again, you're making your knowledge sale. Okay, this is your stuff. You price it yourself. And you have to learn how to price it and how to sell it. That's why we have a course in the dashboard called the Straight Line Persuasion course that teaches you how to sell your stuff, okay? The lender referral service is a service that I sell for $200 to $1,200. And what I do is I actually offer it to brokers. So instead of you doing a joint venture saying I got a client and you want me to split fees with you and co-broker agreements and all that, I say forget that. I'm not down with that. Particularly you want to do something that I'm just not into. You know, I'm not feeling it. You say, well, it's about money. Well, everything's not about money here. You have to have some integrity and some standards. So you want to set up a gentleman's club? I'm not into gentlemen's. I'm not there on that, okay? But what I can do is, even though I can't and won't broker or loan or assist you in setting up a gentleman's club, what I offer you is an alternative. For a fee, I'll identify, and this is what you'll be able to do as part of being a knowledge worker. I'll go and identify 3 lenders that will finance we don't know if they'll finance yours, but they have an interest and have financed gentlemen's clubs. And I do some vetting on those clients. I compress them, compile them into a list, and I'll sell them to you. If I don't find nothing, I don't charge you nothing. But it don't take but a few minutes to do that. How do you do that? Utilizing the tools in the dashboard. All of the tools to do all of these strategies and the resources to implement and to execute these strategies are all contained within the financing dashboard. All right. So I can now sell lender referral service, and this also has a sales page with it. I have a document review service where people will pay you to look over their funding commitments, their contracts, and during the contracts, typically I'll offer a LOI in lieu of a contract, because a LOI is not binding. 1, it doesn't require any capital. 2, and I have no liability exposure. 3, and 4thly, it does the exact same thing that a contract does, which without the liability and the capital, and it provides the framework for the contract. And I simply take my LOIs, and I use not attorneys, but I use title companies, and the title company will take my LOI and structure the contract based on it if I get to it. But in a lot of the cases, depending on the strategy I'm using, I don't need the actual contract because of the game that I'm playing. I play a lot of different games, and some of which are all revealed inside of our dashboard. That's what the core training stuff is, okay? So this document review service is just another service that's part of what? Making your knowledge sell and position yourself as such. And we've included a membership site with training courses and sales pages. And you can sell these products from $200 to $2,500. It's on you what you sell your products at. And that's why you want to learn how to actually do that. All right. So that's how this works. And the last thing here, F, well, it's not really the last one, but it's an apprentice and mentoring program. You price this for what you want. Now, the difference in the mentoring program and the coaching program, in the apprenticeship program, if you signed up for my apprenticeship program, I'm going to tell you what I want you to work on. I may have you to position you to learn how to work with me on large project funding. You're not doing no business loans. I mean, you can set that up as a little income stream in a small business, but your focus is going to be on large project funding first. Secondly, you do that for 30 days. The next 30 days, you're going to focus on making offers on income producing properties. With the apprenticeship programs, I take the lead, and you basically follow my lead and help me do what I advise and recommend you do. That's how you learn, all right? On the coaching and JV program, I'm going to help you do what you want to do. If you want to buy properties, want to sell money, want to do business loans, I'm going to help you do that. So the difference in the two is on the apprenticeship program, I set the pace and the objectives. On the coaching program, you set it. Now, what's the difference in the price? Well, the coaching program, you price your stuff here. You go with $2,000 a month for 12 months. That's your $24,000. On the apprenticeship program, which is of more value because it's more time involved and more strategic and more refined, and it's more of a specialized knowledge, you can charge from $15,000 to $35,000 per year. Now, the difference in the programs, you can slice and dice this any way you want to, because what I do, you may not be able to do, and what you do, I may not be able to do. You may not want to commit to a 6 or 12-month coaching program, or you may want to. Same with the apprentice program. You may want to work with an apprenticeship program for 12 months or 6 months. That's on you. You can slice and dice these things any way you want to. All right. And then lastly, we have included in here an actual broker network. What is that? Well, you have brokers. Instead of brokers just bringing you deals and you joint venturing, what you do is you set up a network and you create a framework that you'll take deals from anybody, free membership, up to $5 million. Any deals above $5 million, and you can slice and dice this in all kind of ways. You can have me to submit real estate apartment deals of $5 million in the apartment sector for free. And we simply split the fees with you. But if you go into the hotel sector or the retail sector, and you want to bring deals, say $5 million is in the retail sector, well, you can have it where you won't take that from me unless I upgrade my membership. And the membership here can be from $40 a month to $500 annually, or you can have a $500 lifetime membership, whereas I'm paying to bring deals to you, but it has to be the deals that you can get done. All right. So you can, if you want to do that, you have the opportunity to actually do that. Now, all of these services are services that you sell, and we also include group coaching and a lot of personal onboarding. Personal onboarding is that you sign up, grab one of our products, and we're going to have a conversation with you to see about what it is you're trying to do, want to do, and give you a framework and a path to actually implement and execute. All right. Now, I want to take a moment now and jump into the tour and actually show you our master site. All right, so this is our Master Money Broker website. And what I'm going to do is give you a real brief tour of all of the things that we actually covered in the slide presentation. All right. Now, this is basically a consultant's website for selling money. The primary objective of this website is commercial real estate loans. All right. Everything's compressed. From looking at it, you would have no idea that this site has 10 websites built into it. And that was by design. It was a lot of work to get that done. All right. So we're on the home page. Now, this cookie consent on the initial rollout of this package, I'm sure it's going to be included in it. And this is basically required by law. You don't have an option on this one. You get caught without it, can hit you for $10,000, $15,000. All right. So it's a game that's risk is not worth taking. So we're going to accept these cookies and bounce out of this. Now, we've also included in here some lead gens. So what you got to have here is an exit pop-up. If I attempt to exit this site, this pops up, and it's an exit pop to give me a chance to give you, the owner of the website, an opportunity to capture my name and email address. So we're going to close this, and we're going to scroll down the website first and look at the site. All right. Most of our sites are clean and fast loading. Here are the commercial loan programs. Okay. The new construction, acquisition, debt refinancing. And we have our programs here. We'll come back and check those out. And then it also is including the small business financing. And as you can see here, we have the large project funding. That's those deals I was mentioning, about 50 million and up. You have hard money real estate loans, and you have business loans, all right? Which means you're able to do, remember the objective was to be able to monetize pretty much any kind of opportunity you run into the market. You have here a pull down menu of general terms. You can schedule a call, or they can apply right here. Here are the terms. This is from 1 to 40 million. Loans above 40 million, visit here. Recourse, non-recourse, LTVs 80%, DSR 1.25, starting rates at 5%, amortization over 30 years, term 10-year balloon. Loans are assumable. They do have prepayment penalties in them, and extensions are available. So everything an investor wants, you simply come here and look here. And we talk about financing. Here you can actually apply here. They can simply tell us what they're looking for if they don't know, and it gives you an opportunity to begin having the linguistic encounter with your prospects. Types of properties you finance, and even the ones that you don't, they are here. Same configuration, pretty much the same thing. And then down here you have real estate programs that you can tap into. Now remember, remember what I mentioned earlier about this 90% stuff. Now I have lenders that do 90% financing. It's just there are some factors that come into play on that, all right? And even here, 80% LTV on portfolio financing. For real estate people, that's, they understand what this is about. And the terms and LTVs are here. And the same, contact us, schedule a call, because you do have an appointment scheduler in here, and you can actually apply here. All right. That's the apply goes to the appropriate application based on it. And then here we've included the business loan, same here. All right. Working capital, terms. And we have a process for all of these programs. And that's why the financing dashboard is included in all of these websites, because without it, you wouldn't know what to do with it. It gives you the path and the processes on how to profit and monetize your services and your lender services, right? So here is about project funding, how it works. That's the large stuff. It's a little different. Well, not a little different. It's very different than business or real estate. It's kind of like its own animal. Typically on the large project funding, those are the kind of projects we want to joint venture with you on, because you don't get but one chance to play that game. You can't just go up and strike out and come back. You get to go up and hit a home run and get in the game, all right? This is some more information about large project funding. Now, go back up to the front page here. And this is our site, all right? Solid Financing Services, all right? Now, here we're going to hang out for a minute. Now, this is your menu bar. These are your programs. These are the real estate programs that we kind of just looked at right here. All right. You have general terms, the properties we finance, real estate loans, business loans, hard money loans. Tell us about your deal. Pretty straightforward. Now, here is where we tap into the two business lenders. This is the website for your business financing. And remember, all of these are included here. And it's just click it and get it. It starts the process. You click this, all right, it's going to take you to a funnel. And we're going to do some segregation. Remember, I mentioned that you can't broker the business loans. There are people that do. I don't know how they do it. I don't care to do it. But you have brokers. You're going to do some segregating here. You're going to create two lists. Your brokers here, you're going to get them off the list. And you want your principals here. And they click here, and your principals give you their name and confirm that they're principals, the amount of loans they're looking for, the borrowing company name. And there's a reason for this, guys. The borrowing company name, because when you log into your lender portal, if I may fill this out as Durante Parks, but when I go to the lender portal, I complete it as Parks Investment Services. And if you don't have both of these, you won't know who I am, okay? So this fixes that. because you want the borrowing company name, which is what the bank requires. And once I fill this out and hit the button, it takes you straight to the bank's portal, but you have my name and address and you know that I got there. All right. So that's what this does, is segregate. So if you are a broker, you come here and you fill this out, or what you type of brokering you're going to do. And once you submit it, it takes you to a page that tells you we don't work with brokers. Here's a link to sign up for yourself. Why? Well, it's just Intel. We can't do business loans with brokers, but we can work with brokers because once we have these names are actually stored on your website. You can log in and look at them. And what can you do? You can then offer these brokers your other services, okay? Now, that's how that works. So that's the business portion here. That's business portion one. Now, this business two, this is the hedge fund, all right? And the hedge fund's website will look like this. And one of the key things they offer that they're real strong on is this same-day funding, all right? And if you look down here under Trustpilot, these guys got a 4.9 out of 5 for years. So they handle this stuff. They do their business, all right? And they also offer cannabis funding. Now, this is interesting because when you look at the cannabis dispensary funding, you have your working capital, vendor financing, equipment financing, dispensary funding, and there it is, our magic word, lines of credit and inventory financing. And what do? You click it and your clients apply. All you have to do is send people to these websites. And that means you just want a pretty effective and aggressive marketing campaign. And you have the FAQs in here, questions, am I really working with someone already for my funding? Because if people are shopping, you want to know, who you're working with. And it's a lot of intel you can actually get from that. So that's the second site. All right. Now, here are the services, the professional services. Well, before we look at the services, let's take a look. Let's look at the services. Now, all of these are the services that we talked about. You can this is a lead gen for a consultation, free consultation. People call you up and you have a conversation, and what you're doing on those conversations is you identifying what they're trying to do and actually explain to them how you can actually help them do it. You don't attempt to talk people out of doing what they want to do. You be sincere, you be honest, maintain some integrity, and help people do what they want to do. You can share what you think might be a better alternative, but ultimately the decision is theirs. This initial appointment consultation is an opportunity for you to establish credibility for yourself and your company. And to do that, you need product knowledge. To get product knowledge, what do you have to do? You have to understand and be able to articulate the processes. That's it. And be a very good listener and not a big talker, but a real good listener. Communication is a two-way process. Most of us think it's articulating, but I'm here to tell you, the most powerful portion of communication is effective listening. So you want to listen and ask questions to get to the core of the problem or the concern of the person. And when you can provide the answer to that concern, they sign up. So you find out what the problem is and bring a solution. Now, granted, in some instances, you can't help people, and own that. Go through the Straight Line Persuasion selling course, and it teaches you what to do when you run across a person you can't help, how to bounce, and how to keep moving, don't waste your time here. Can't get blood out of no turnip, okay? Now, here is a second option for them to make an appointment. This is the loan packaging service. This is the sales page. And I want to share something, point out something about these sales pages. That's the page. I'm not going to read it to you. You can check it out yourself. But these pages all have phone numbers on them. They don't have $3,500, $4,500, $5,000 price tags on them. Most of the sales, your consulting services that you're going to sell your services, I'm not talking about lender service, I'm talking about your services. You're going to sell these over the telephone. I'm just letting you know. Nobody's going to buy $5,000, write a check for $5,000, pay a guy $5,000 off our website and not talk to him. I know I won't, and I hope you won't either, okay? So that's what this is, which means what? You have to be prepared for those phone calls and be able to have and engage effectively with prospects that actually call you. The worst thing I could do is run an ad. Person call me up and I don't know, well, what you want to know? That kind of stuff. You don't want to go there. To get here, to do what we're talking about doing, you can't be there. You have to up the skill sets, effective communication, and be able to articulate solutions clearly and precisely. All right? Now, that's the actual page for your actual loan packaging service. The deal analysis is the same. You have that here. The deal analysis service. Same process. Sales page, phone number, right? Same process. Your other service you have is your LOI creation. Sales page, benefits, pros and cons of an LOI. All right. And down here, the phone number. Okay. And remember, that's because the sales are going to be made over the phone. You say, well, I don't like talking to people. Well, you aren't going to be able to do this. Then you don't offer these services. The other alternative is to work for free. It's okay if you want to do that. Just remember, you didn't learn that from me. But if you don't like talking to people, that's okay. You don't have to. You can do the business stuff and never have to talk to anyone. But ultimately, you're gonna want to get to the point where you can engage and have effective communications with people. Now, this is the broker thing. I call it a lender referral. Remember the broker who wanted to do the gentleman's club? We don't do gentleman's clubs. So what we'll do is we'll send him here and we are going to vet the lender for him. You said, well, how are you going to do it? We're going to find the lender from the resources in the dashboard. Okay. And we're going to create a PDF and we're going to sell it to him. You said, well, what does it cost? What does it cost? Remember, you determined a lot of this. Now, let me show you what I have here on this. Same thing. Here's a phone number and a place for him to actually submit his deal. All right. Here's how this works. Tell me what you want to know, what kind of project you got. All right. What you need. That's the questions. And here, $125, I can do that. A soft vetting, full vetting, $225. And if you want me to call the lender up and introduce you to him, that's $275. You can change this to whatever you choose to. But I keep the barrier of entry low. I like providing a lot of value at a low price. I don't like to jack everything up to a real high price. And as you'll see, for these websites, we charge a fraction of what they're actually worth. And that's because we are in this mindset of providing value above and beyond the cost of items. So same here. You said, well, I won't do it for $125. Well, if you can do it for $500, that's your business. That's your flow. If that's where you are, you go there. You be you. There's no rules here. All right. I just believe in making things obtainable and to keep the bar low for people to help them say yes, just like the zero interest loan. Kind of hard to say no to zero. Okay. But at the same time, zero is not a hero because you can't work and provide valuable services and do it for free. That's a zero, and zero in that scenario is not a hero. All right. So that's what this referral service looks like. Okay. And then those are your services. Now, up here on the training is where we have the training courses. All right. And we have the JV portal and the apprenticeship portal and an actual store. And of course, we have a blog. So let's take a look at this store. We'll go from the bottom up. and we'll take a look at our store, and we can tie Amazon books in here if we want to. It has a shopping cart and everything in here. I mean, it's ready to go. You just have to select your products. And here are books. You can, and this is just, it's not big ticket stuff. But what I would do, I would focus on books that are specifically in the real estate financing and business financing sector, including books, software, and courses. I would offer these here, all right? And that's what the store for. Or you can say, well, I don't care to do that. Then that's fine. You don't touch it. You leave it alone, all right? The apprenticeship program, you determine the price on that and whether you want to do it. And you say, well, what if I don't want to do it? Then you don't promote it. We can disable this. We can shut it off where it doesn't even work, all right? Here the people apply, because you can't do, everyone can't be an apprentice. They have to have certain skill sets and mindsets, because you're going to have to interact with them. And the best way to find out who you're talking with and who you're dealing with is you're going to have a talk, interview them, and see if they qualify. And if you think and feel that they qualify, and you pricing it, if you're pricing it at $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. You sell it to them for $15,000. Remember, you want to make deals and provide value at a discount, even though you say you're discounting a premium service. It's okay. I'm okay with that. And you need to be okay with that. So instead of charging me $24,000, you're going to charge me $15,000, which is the $5,000 discount. All right. So that's what this is. And then you have a JV training program. Now this is interesting because this is an actual membership site. And I want to explain to you how this came about. All right. Now it's a membership site. And you got a free course here, just like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, free membership. And then you have the JV Video Masterclass course, lifetime access for $1,000. Now, this course is not our financing masterclass. This is the JV Masterclass, completely different program. And you can pay $9.97 now, or for access to the same course, you can charge $49.95 a month or whatever you want to, or delete this. And for your 6-month joint venture training, and it's the program you would normally sell with $10,000 commitment fee and take the equity on the back end and pick up the points. Well, you can give me the course to a group of people, go through the whole process with a group and teach it at $6,500 per year. You have to learn this to do this now, all right? So you have to understand it. And if you decide you're going to do this with 10 people online, because this is it's a service, you're going to deliver it. You only have to deliver it once, and then you record it, then you make it available as a product. And you have a group. Notice this says group. Your mastermind, and let's say you limit it to 10 people. 10 people is $6,500. Or 10 people at $6,500 is $65,000. 10 people at $3,500 is $35,000. All right. So think along those lines. Let me explain where this site came from, how it came about. Now, the JV training, the apprenticeship program shows you the JV training. Yeah, here. Yeah, that's that. Now, remember, this is about the joint venture program. All right. That's where this came from. All right, so these are the programs here, all right? Now, I want to explain something here and about the, remember, these are your personal services. They say professional services, but they're really personal services. But here's what actually happened that caused these courses, that JV course, to come about. Now, here under investor services are the actual websites. Now, this website, the JV website, what happened and we'll take a look at it while we're here. And I want you to see something here. Now remember, I did this initially with a couple of doctors, right? And they brought in a third doctor who wanted to do the JV. They needed tax shelter, but they didn't have time to do no fixer-uppers or looking for real estate. They could find the real estate, because we don't do that, because I'm not a real estate agent. So I gave them a path, and the initial offer was from this webpage. Now, the thing I want you to understand, all of these websites that you see were built based on things that I've actually done. So it's not like I created a website out of theory. These are actual sites that are structured based on processes that I've actually done. So this is real stuff here. So here's what happened. I was able to secure my first client without a website. I didn't have a website, but I had that stuff between my left and right ear, that intellectual knowledge. And the objective, in fact, the whole story is it had a student who wanted to buy some properties and didn't have any money and didn't want to broker no loans. And he wanted to just buy some properties, some income properties with no money, no capital, he had no credit. That was the problem, okay? This was a solution to that. So one conversation led to another, because I went on the probe and I just started asking questions and thinking things through. Everything that you're actually watching are things that have been thought through. We're not trying to figure anything out. It's already been figured out. All you have to do is walk it out, okay? So that led to this website and this concept. Whereas if I want to buy some property and I don't have money or knowledge, because typically you can substitute one for the other, but if you don't have neither, you're pretty much done. All right. So if I can't qualify to buy a property, then the reverse thinking, counterintuitive thinking is to help you buy a property and profit from that. Okay? Or either you help me. So if I can't afford to buy a property myself, I can profit by helping you buy a property, and in doing that, generate the capital for buying my own property, one. Or two, you help me buy a property. And that's what it came. Whereas we're going to help this person buy this property, and in return, we created a equity play, a deal structure. One of the things, guys, you'll learn from the things that I do, it's all about transaction engineering. You put deals together based on what you have, not on what you don't have, right? So Dr. Two came, and what we did was a $1 million deal. Just give it a brief summary. $1 million deal, and I picked up 1 point on it, $10,000. And I took 10% equity in it, which was $100,000. All right. And he paid a $10,000, 100% refundable commitment fee, which means with this, you get paid to play. You get paid to work. You don't work and get paid. You don't have to sell into personal services. This is a personal service, but it's a personal service that pays you to begin. One, here on the page, it pays you to begin. It explains here what I did. They were to provide you ought to bring 80% of the acquisition financing to the table. That's easy to do, 80%. That's easy. That's not complicated. All right, that's our part. I inspect, negotiate, and put the whole deal together. I work with the lender, and I negotiate as a fiduciary, which means everything has to benefit you, not me. I do calls with you if need be. I provide you with a detailed property profile. Here's the kind of properties you need to look for in the framework for actually getting the right type of property. We're not doing no fixer-upper stuff. It's in that, all right? And I prepared an initial LOI. That LOI comes into play again, all right? That's my part. And in return, I take 10% equity in the deal. In addition to the points, in the $10,000 is self-funded, because at the closing, when the lender credits me the $10,000, I simply write you a check for 10, and I take the $100,000 note and keep the points. Okay? Well, I don't keep the points because I give you the points back, but I'm getting paid to actually begin the process. His part is to provide 20% of the acquisition cost. So it's real straightforward. And then here's what happened. Did it with 2 clients, 2 doctors. Then they brought in the 3rd doctor. And the 3rd doctor wanted to do the deal, but he didn't have the time, and he wasn't interested in that. He wanted to do a self-paced thing. All right. So the result in that was I had nothing else to say. I could say, well, thank you, bye, right? Then I realized that I could simply make a course that offers him the actual steps without versus losing a sale. And that is why and how this program came about, this actual JV program. So instead of him paying $10,000 for me to do it, here he can pay $6,500 and get the instructions on how to do it all by himself without me. And for me, and for you, it's a digital product, which means you don't have to deliver it. And it's available 24/7, and you can sell as many of them as you want. It became a backup out of the JV program, because I had nothing else to offer. The guy says no to your JV program, you have nothing to offer. You except say bye. Well, we don't want to say bye. We had to come up with something. So that was what and how this JV program came about. Now, let's take a look at the website. So if you're actively involved in commercial real estate investing, then you would use this website. All right. And this is for buyers. In other words, if you're making offers on LoopNet, GoopNet, Twiller, wherever you're making offers, you make offers from this website. Because when you make the offer, you say, well, how do you make the offer? Use the LOI creator. It's in the financing dashboard training videos. Should be somewhere near this one. All right. And this is the page that your realtors and all of the people, your owners and people will look at. So what does it do? It's real simple. Let's go back to the home page here. What it does, this particular site, it tells you what we buy. Well, no, that's not the site. It's this site here. We buy income properties. And the deal is, we buy income properties nationwide. We pay full price. All right. You say, well, how do you do it? Well, it's a strategy. It's revealed in the training courses. All right. So I have my acquisition guidelines. In other words, this is the process that we actually go through here. The types of properties we design, types of properties we don't design. You say, well, why do we have to put that in there? People will bring you stuff you're not looking that you can't do. That's why. And you'll tell them, but it doesn't matter. It just happens. It's the game and the locations. That's where we buy, and the property requirements and the documents that we require here, and the process and our process procedure, what to expect. And this is for realtors and brokers in terms of agent conflict resolution, because what happened, you had 3 realtors submit the same property to you. So how you going to handle that one, right? Otherwise, how are you going to play it? You got 3 realtors submitted the same property to you, and they both calling you, all of them calling you about the property. Who is legitimately entitled for you to work with? Well, you have to. This fixes that. So we had to create a conflict resolution policy for realtors. And it depends on who has the agreement. Who has the listing agreement, that's who we work with, not who found the property. Because just because you found a property doesn't mean you have the right to list it or to represent the seller. So we had to see who produced the documents. That's how that came about on that. So this site is relatively straightforward on it. It's so when you're making offers, you make offers from your buyer website. And what does it look like? Well, it tells you what we purchase, why we purchase, our process, about us, why work with us, how we work with brokers and agents, our philosophy. Pretty simple, straightforward acquisition guidelines here, and brokers can register and submit properties to you. All right, that's what this is about. That's the property acquisition site. Basically, it's an investor site. If you're an investor, you're buying properties, that's the site you use. Now, if you're a wholesaler, you're looking for them cash buys to do that local property flip, you use this website. It's basically a funnel. I want you to notice this site doesn't have any external links. It's nothing for the person to do. You tell them everything right here up front. You know, I mean, it's, you know, we are not realtors, nor are we associated with any real estate listing service. We are paid flat fees by the sellers regardless of your price. That's the unique selling proposition. Regardless of the price, yeah. We'll never, when you do this, you never tell your buyer here to come up with more money. So instead of the buyer putting up more money, your strategy is for the seller to actually take less, okay? And the only thing they have to do here is start the process, and it's a funnel, okay, on that. And that's for the acquisitions, okay? And then over here, we looked at this joint venture site. Now remember, this is what we are on, is the commercial real estate financing site. We showed you the business sites. In here, the large project funding site is here. And this is for those deals $50 million and up. And it's a different animal. And anyone interested in actually doing this, and you have this package, what we'll do is joint venture with you on these deals, because they're completely different than a real estate deal. It's a solar project, new renewable energy. All of this is all about large project funding. And you want to learn about this, because see, this is the one and done thing here. You do one of these deals, walk off with $5-6 million, you set for a minute. You can do 2 or 3 of them and stack them back to back, and then walk away. Know that they will fund. It's just that they aren't fast. So that's what this is. And then of course we have the broker registration set up right here, where brokers can register, and you can get them in and on the. And this is about what I mentioned earlier about how you can set this up based on what kind of deals you want, the range of the deals, the pricing, and what. Well, I can submit a lot of it free, but if I decide to go into retail, I may have to pay a fee, or if I decide to go over $5 million, you can have it where I have to pay because it's a premium service. But you need to vet me also. You don't just take anybody's money because they're willing to give it to you. Some people, you got to be real careful here, because you're dealing with your credibility is online, and you have to deliver the results. You follow me? Okay. So these are basically what we've included in our actual site here. This is the Master Money Broker package deal here. Okay, so that pretty much covers the actual touring of the websites, but there are a few other features I'm going to share while we're here about the actual value in this package. That our servers, we're actually running a custom server has 12 cores in it, and they are custom built specifically for our application. These things are 24/7, 365 monitored every day. There's a 99.8% uptime and 3 redundancies. It has hardware, firewalls, and security built in. And you get SSL certificates with your sites. Got 29 premium plugins and themes that are included. They aren't trial themes or freebies. These are premium themes and premium plugins. Real pricey. You include backup software, automatic updates, 37 forms already made in a custom form generator. You can create custom email addresses in lieu of using when you're making offers on income properties or dealing with clients, you don't want emails coming from Gmail. You want emails coming from your website, all right? Some places you can't even do that. Use an email, if it's a public email or free email, you have to have a business email, and here on our service, you can create as many as you want. We have an AI content generator for generating content, driving traffic. We have a YouTube channel poster included. So you have a YouTube channel, you can actually shoot content straight up to your YouTube channel. We have a LinkedIn poster where you can actually generate content and post it automatically from within the website to your LinkedIn account. And of course, we have the appointment scheduler that's included in it. And let's see if there's anything more. Oh, and we have a lifetime consent policy. Now, this is during this initial rollout. I don't know how long this would be included. It may be a separate product because of the pricing on it. But that's pretty much our entire package here. All right. So thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. And, in addition to all of this, we actually offer web school tutorials where you can learn how to manage your site, make pages, put things up, and take things down. All right. We'll see you hopefully on the next video. And I want to thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed it. And feel free to give us your feedback on this product.